Hello, good morning everybody. Paul Tranny here, and the one and only Anna McNaught.
Hey everyone.
Next to me, she is the fine creator of this lovely work that you see back here. And it is day 2.
Yeah, feeling good today?
Feeling good, looking good, hair looks very nice. We're showing up, ready to do some work. And again, this is day 2, so you can always check out day 1 in the replays section. And yeah, we have a full day of fun Photoshop work, and it's been super awesome just, seeing everybody's work the past, yesterday and into today. Big thank you to Howard for kicking off the day with the XD Daily Creative Challenge. And again, we have you here for 2 hours, which is great. We'll hopefully reveal kind of what we did yesterday. We have Andrew as well, Segretti, and Sasha Vinogradova from 1 to 3. But it's all Photoshop all day long, pro tips. Everybody's like approaching Photoshop like kind of in a different way, which is really fun to see,
Yeah, it's really cool to see the way everyone's kind of taking it on and doing different projects. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and there's 1,000 things you can do with Photoshop, and we're just thankful you're here with us, Ash and Anthony and Shank Media. I guess that's what that is, Atia. So I want to wish you a warm welcome wherever the day finds you, Heidi Morrow. Awesome. And we're stealing you away from LA, right?
Yeah, coming up from LA, and luckily, it's cold there, cold here, so.
Yeah, but like, let's calm down. It's cold.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday and how cold is relative, but.
Cold is very relative. So, but it is a little cool here.
Got our sweaters.
Yeah, so I got my dad sweater on.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, speaking of flying up here, and we'll reveal the winner from yesterday's challenge shortly. Okay. Just so you know, there is that challenge tab right next to the chat tab, as you can see right over here. Let me refresh this. Let's make sure, because I did not. So, and feel free to refresh. All right. And yeah, we'll get that updated here in a second. But basically, we had a challenge yesterday. The challenge yesterday was all about creating a surrealistic scene, and we got like some really cool entries, quite a few, which was really tough to kind of pick the winner. So we said, hey, just create something surrealistic, right? Mm-hmm. And just combine at least 2 photos, right? So it's all about compositing. And just give me 1 second. Sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure I get the name right. Oh, awesome. All right, we're ready now. Congratulations to Brianne Hadley. This is the winner from yesterday.
So amazing.
Yeah,
wow.
Design student from Salt Lake City. This was like one of at least like 3 pieces she did.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's super cool. Remember, she like Mars, Venus, I think Saturn was another one. But I think you gravitated toward this one too yesterday.
Yeah, it's so cool. I love the letters. I love the flowers. Like everything's just the coloring. Everything's awesome.
Yeah, the in and out, and like, yes, we get it that you can't see some of the A, but you don't need to because you're still reading Mars.
You instantly see it. It doesn't even matter that it kind of blends in. And in fact, I think that kind of helps it.
Yeah, I agree. Like it creates some visual interest. So. Brianne, I don't know if she's here, but she does win a year of Creative Cloud. So congratulations to her, especially as a student or somebody early in their career. It's awesome.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, super cool. So we will have a challenge today as well. But really, I want to kind of switch to your screen and kind of like dive into this.
Yeah.
If we can, or just like let's kind of take off and see what we have.
All right, so if you guys remember from yesterday, we were working on this piece and we left things off kind of with this, and then we had some very like messy edges here, and we weren't finished with the coloring, and we did get into camera raw a bit where we really focused on this highlight here and adding some sun and then darkening everything, and we were struggling a bit with figuring out how to add this highlight here to make it look like a realistic window. Mm-hmm. So yesterday after we went off live, Paul and I worked on this, and we added a lens flare here to kind of add more interest. And
I love it. I love how it spills over just ever so slightly on the edge there.
You can see here that it just kind of comes over right there.
Yeah.
And then we added a bunch of dust and scratches to kind of make that window look more realistic. I also went in here and added some lights on top of the bridge. So we really worked to kind of clean this up and make it look cool. So I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it looks good, and I mean, it looks great. Especially, I think you're really selling the window, you know. And I'm sure you had other thoughts, like, do you see some of the interior of the plane being reflected and all that stuff? But I like where it's at. It would take away from the imagery here. So it looks like Aaron thinks it looks awesome, and I would agree with you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, so we added, kind of what I did was I ended up layer masking a bit of the original window back in here so you guys can see, actually it's right behind Paul, so let's bring it up. So you can see here that original reflection coming back in.
That's so good.
Yeah, and
it's the little subtleties.
Yep, it makes it look a lot more realistic. So yesterday we actually we cut the whole thing out to here. I apologize for the messy edge, but we went right to the edge on that, and then when I looked at it again, I realized just having a touch of that window really makes a difference.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it is all about, like, and you having a photography background, it helps so much. Like, what are you doing? You're taking cues from actual photos of, like, windows and how does light interact with a window and all that stuff, you know? And it just really lends itself to, you know,
exactly. That's so important to understand when you're compositing, so.
Oh, yeah. I am into it.
Yeah.
So, and this is, that you might find a version on Anna's Instagram, just so you know, everyone. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and brag about you.
Hey, I hit 110.
Whoa! Woo! Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah, this is great. But you can see her work here. Anna McNaught. I was just gonna point out, because I think this maybe an older version. Like, there's this version out there. Like, I guess this is kind of at a place where you'd post it potentially. Yeah. And again, since you know so much about Instagram, you also tell us a little bit about that. Like, you know, you share your knowledge of Instagram, like you run little workshops and things.
Yeah. So I actually have a full course online. If you guys are interested, you can learn basically everything I did to grow my Instagram and how to create a profitable business on Instagram. And I was able to quit my job because of the work that I post online. So here's my course page here, and I have a Photoshop course and an Instagram course. But
very cool.
Yeah, I mean, my major tip for Instagram is creating a cohesive color scheme. So you're not paying attention to just each individual photo, but you're paying attention to your page as a whole. So your entire page becomes a piece of art in itself.
Okay.
So if you look at my page, you can clearly see that I love blue, purple, and pink, and pops of orange. So it has that flow.
And yours does have it has a nice glowy, dreamy aspect to it.
Right.
But it's definitely cohesive. And this is great because a client knows exactly what they're getting, you know, when they contact you, is this sort of style.
Exactly.
But you said that's probably the biggest tip, is like maybe people have a mismatch.
Yeah, and I was talking with some of the other live streamers about this last night, and how, you know, really creating that cohesive look on your page is just so important because, like you said, you know, a client will come to your page, they know what they're gonna get, and, you know, if you have tons of work in different color schemes, that's great, put it on your website, but keep your Instagram like one focused topic or one focus color or theme.
Yeah, and maybe, and I'm just kind of thinking, you know, about like my Instagram. Sometimes you might need to split it up. Like you could have artwork, and you could have the personal stuff, but like maybe this is one Instagram page, if you will, and then you have your professional work as another one.
Exactly.
I
think
mean, that's as I hear you talk, that's kind of what I think of
Yes.
crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing to have 2 separate Instagrams if you are posting your work. One just centered around your artwork or your business, and then one for personal. Like I started a second page as my travel account to share
I saw
pictures of my husband and I traveling and doing fun things, but it wouldn't fit on this page. You know, I would never post a picture, like a selfie on this page or something, so.
And then Fabiola asks, what do they hire you to do when somebody hires you, I guess, between your Instagram? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but people do hire you, like, to consult, like, on their Instagram account or what?
Yeah, so I get hired in a few different ways, obviously. Client work and, like, creating pieces like you see on my Instagram for brands or for bigger companies that are looking for some kind of cool, unique marketing artwork. And then also managing people's Instagrams and teaching how to do Instagram and Photoshop. So those are some ways that I've kind of been able to create an income stream from Instagram.
Yeah, that's very cool. I want to hear about all your Instagram tips, like, over the course of today and tomorrow.
Yes,
as
definitely.
Well.
I will be sharing those.
Yeah, because I want to know everything. I've noticed there's not even a lot of hashtags in here.
I actually hide them in my comments.
You hide them in your comments?
Yeah.
So are you the first one to comment on yours with the hashtags?
Yep.
I've seen people do that. Is that a thing?
Yeah, so it's really up to you if you put it in your caption or your comments. I did hear that comments weren't working for a while if you put your hashtags in your comments, but now it's working again. So you just have to pay attention to what's been going on with Instagram and you know, what they're changing and deleting and everything. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, very cool. Well, yeah, let's switch back over to your screen.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna otherwise I'm gonna continue to I'm gonna get lost in your Instagram. I can see myself getting lost in this.
Yeah, we got to dive into some Photoshop today, so.
Yeah, into it.
So yeah, today we are actually going to be working on this lighthouse. And this is the full course that I have online for Photoshop. I teach you exactly how to do this piece, and essentially in learning this, you'll be able to master Photoshop in one course in a way and learn key things. But today what we're gonna do is actually put a sun in there, use a different lighthouse, and kind of dive into some different techniques with this. So here's my latest one, and then this is my old one that I did originally, and there's a lot of things that are wrong with this, and so that's a really important thing to point out in how you kind of progress. And we talked about this a bit yesterday, but the changes in your style and then also things that you start to notice. Like you guys can see here that this water is a bit weird and the lighthouse isn't coming through correctly, and then we got a lot of pixelation happening up here. So we're gonna fix that today.
Yeah, I'm into it. And you're gonna start with, oh good, perfect. You have everything kind of like your different like photos ready to go.
Yeah, so we're ready to go. We just opened a new canvas here, and I added all my layers in, so we'll go ahead and start getting that ready, I guess.
Into it. Let's get some work done.
All right.
Let's do some work.
So the first layer I'm adding here is my lighthouse, and just like we did yesterday, I'm going to kind of get everything into place and get things kind of where I want them to be before we start layer masking. So just kind of figuring out the composition right now. So I know that I like this lighthouse kind of in the middle, kind of big, so it's like the center. And some of you guys may know, like, rule of thirds with photography and everything, and paying attention to those areas in the grid and not the center, but for me, I really do like symmetry in my work, and so that's something that I've started doing as well, but that's a personal preference. So.
Yeah, and just real fast as well, because you talked about this yesterday, what is your document size, your canvas size there?
Yeah, so I'm using 16 by 20 inches at 300 DPI, and the reason I do that
16 by 20.
Yeah, I do that because I really want to be able to print my work as well, and if it's too small, then I won't be able to print it and everything will look pixelated.
Cool. Very cool.
So I kind of have an idea of where I want this to go right now and what I'm kind of aiming for. But you know, a lot of times I just kind of play with this and I lower the opacity on the layers to start to kind of get the composition. Just gonna add my water.
Where'd you get these fancy pics?
These are all from Adobe stock,
Cool.
which is amazing.
Very cool.
So then I have this little water line. So I have my underwater picture here, but we don't have a clean water line. So I actually grabbed another water line from Adobe stock so that I can kind of get that to look really nice and clean. All right, then we got some fish that we'll be adding and a sun flare later on.
Oh yeah, into it.
Cool.
So feel free to follow along, and wanted just to do a shout out about the contest that we have going on. So in the challenge tab, it's all about creating a movie poster today. So I invite you to create and share a movie poster using Photoshop. You can use this template here, post to that link, and so feel free to dive into that.
Yeah. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is to cut this lighthouse out. Probably my least favorite part of everything, but very important. So.
Hey, can I show you something?
Yes.
Actually, maybe do you want to, have you done select subject yet?
That's what I was gonna do,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah.
And
Continue.
so I personally don't like using it, but I will show you guys if you select subject right here, it's gonna get my lighthouse. All right, so you can see it did a pretty good job of selecting it. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And so now what we can do is go in and select and mask and start to kind of clean this up.
Do you typically do that? Because I know you were grabbing for, is that what you were going to do? You were going to do it
That's
that
not
way.
what I would actually do. I mean, I might, but sometimes I just like to use a pen tool or then do what we did yesterday where I used channels to actually cut out the lighthouse. But in this case, it's actually a bit tough because we have, this is so black and this is so white, and then we have kind of the light background.
Yeah.
And
it's hard
yesterday,
based on brightness.
yeah, yesterday we talked about using channels to cut something out, and if you don't have a lot of contrast between your background and your foreground, then that gets a little tough.
You know what I use a lot is I use quick selection a lot.
Yep, that's exactly what I was
Right?
gonna do.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So if you come over here to quick selection, then you just kind of go over your subject and select it all like this.
And I feel like it seems like there's no, at least in my experience, it's never one tool will select everything I need it to.
Right,
Like
exactly.
it's usually like going to be a combination of things.
Yeah, that's how I feel, and like sometimes I will do this roughly and then I'll go in with a brush tool to kind of like layer mask everything and get it looking really sharp and nice. So
So Ash has not used select subject. It's like pretty new, but it's amazing. So it's so exciting when you're able to show that to someone. Something really cool like that. And again, try it on anything. I've tried it on things. I'm like, oh, it's not gonna select this dog in this picture that like. The curb is right there. It's going to select all. No. It will just select the dog. I'm like, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like, there's definitely some cool little tricks like that in Photoshop that you can use to speed up your workflow.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to sit here and like mask this all day, right?
Yeah, nobody. Yeah.
So yeah, I just went through with the quick selection tool, got everything looking pretty good, and then you can just add a layer mask from here if you feel like it looks good, or you can go select and mask and then kind of clean up this edge. So what I usually do is I just smooth it a bit, and I kind of just honestly like click in here and see what looks good. So, and then I'll shift my edge in a little bit, and let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see if we can bring this back in a little. Did it take it all away?
I don't know. I think
There
it's
we go.
just, oh yeah. Whew.
Just rendering. Okay, so that's pretty good for now. I'm gonna click OK, and then I'm just gonna click the layer mask button down here. And there we have our pretty lighthouse cut out.
Super easy, right?
Yeah, so then, you know, I might go in here and clean up these edges, which we could do, or we can dive into getting this bad boy underwater. What do you think?
What was the first option? Sorry.
Clean up the edges, because we can definitely...
Yeah, maybe that edge, because I feel like if we don't, it's gonna bother somebody.
Yep. Like yesterday, we'll be like, oh no, that dumb edge.
But maybe just, really just that one edge, I feel like, you know, and
yeah, so.
Like and even depending on your composition, you know, there's parts in the top of the lighthouse that, yeah, you could cut out, but you might not even need to. So
right.
you don't even need to sweat that part, really. Huh?
Right, exactly. So up here, we just kind of left it as is, and we could honestly just like cut this all out, or you know, come back in with a brush tool to paint some of those details back in, which is something that I do quite often. But so here, in this case, what we can do is we can just go with a white brush and just kind of, I hold down shift, and so click with your brush, hold down shift, and then paint that straight line. Just to kind of clean up those edges.
I don't think I knew that. You clicked once?
Yep, so click with your brush. You wanna click where you're gonna start painting.
Click there once.
Click, and then
you can
hold down
click
shift.
hold down shift, and you click any other.
Yep, and see, it will always do a straight line if you hold down shift.
I did not know that.
That's one of my favorite things, because it makes layer masking, especially with a mouse, like really fast.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do, you know, you could do that with like the lasso tool, but
right.
I've never done it with a brush.
Yeah, it's
because you kind of want that soft edge. So
exactly.
Good job.
Yeah, and oh, that's the other thing. I'm always painting also with my hardness all the way down, because I want those edges to be nice and smooth and kind of blurred out.
Yeah, I did not know that, Nicholas. It's always, this just goes to show, like, I don't care who you are, who's watching, you're probably going to end up learning something.
Yep.
You know, this is amazing. So, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Slow clap from Fabiola. And is this lighthouse haunted? Or?
I don't know. It looks like it definitely could be.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
You know?
So another thing that I like to do is, you can see our house edge here is pretty good, but it's a bit rough. So sometimes what I do is I'll actually click on my layer mask, make sure that's selected, and I'll come over to the blur tool, and I'll just blur the edges of my layer mask.
That's another thing that is good to do, for sure.
Yeah, so you can see here that, like, before, let's zoom in. Before blurring it, it's like a bit rough, and then after, just kind of gives that nice smoothness. So I will say sometimes this doesn't work, because it will blur it too much to the point where you start to see like the edges creeping back in. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, true.
But what you can always do is you can either undo it, or you can come back over here to sharpen, and then just sharpen that edge right back up. So that obviously looks really bad there, but you guys can see how you can kind of go back and forth with that.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's what happens with selections. You end up with these like kind of jagged edges, and you're definitely smoothing it out.
Exactly. So then another thing to kind of clean up that layer mask, and we can see a lot is going on up here, but one of the things I like to do when I start to have like weird lines creeping out, right here, let's see, it's pretty good, but let's like use this as an example here. So again, on the layer mask, I'll go in with the smudge tool, and this is great, like if you cut something out and you have those leftover lines, you have to go to a regular brush here. You have those like white lines that are just everywhere and really annoying. So you just come in and you just smudge a little tiny bit to push that edge in.
And you're on you're on the mask layer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can see here, I know it's kind of hard to see, but we have a bit of a white line on the side there. So all I would do is with my smudge tool, just push it in a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
And so that's really great when you have something that's brighter on a dark background and you can see those nasty edges.
Because blurring, like you said before, you could, blurring it, some of the background can creep in. This way you're kind of just smudging in.
Yep.
So you're making sure you're not removing the back or getting any of the background in there, but it's still blurring that edge a little bit.
Exactly. And so there's other ways to do this as well. You can have your subject selected, and then you can actually come up here to select modify, and then you can contract your pixels as well. Yeah. So that's a great way to get rid of edges also. So yeah, our lighthouse is looking pretty good. We can come in and clean this up later on. And then all of this is going to be underwater, so I'm not too concerned about it right now because we're going to actually be blurring it out a bit.
Mm-hmm. Paul is asking about like large format printing tips around that. My first thought with that is to like, I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, but my first thought is to talk to Sasha about that.
Yeah,
she does a lot of that. You know, these concepting, and they literally have to send it out to, yep. I think Lisa Carney is somebody that does that a lot. You can find her online, does amazing touch-up work. Yeah, because I think maybe Sasha would know.
Yeah. I've the largest I've gone is like 34 by something, I forget, but not super big. But I mean, my biggest suggestion is to just make sure you start with a big canvas in Photoshop, you know, in which case your file might end up being like 4 or 5 gigs or something. But if you're printing, you know, wall size, you're going to...
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah,
like,
and then you have to
You want to get around it, but like, how many tricks can there be? I don't know.
I know. You have to make sure... Yeah, you have to make sure that your original images are from a really high quality camera too. Like, you can't be like, cell phone picture, gonna blow it up for my wall.
I think we've all been there.
Yep.
We've made that mistake.
Definitely.
Yes, chat and win in less than 3 minutes. Sorry I didn't mention that earlier, but we're just gonna give you a little something here shortly. Yeah. And thanks, Paul. Good question, man. Good stuff. Because it's like, what do? You got to try to work digitally, and I guess digitally, like anytime. Well, I'm talking like vectors. Anytime. Any sort of vector line work you can do, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Or even effects, you know, like effects can be printed out at a high quality.
Exactly.
But it just depends.
Yeah, so next what we're gonna do is split our lighthouse in two, because we're gonna have our above water lighthouse and our below water lighthouse. And this is something that I dive in like really in depth in my course.
Yeah, dive in.
Get it?
Oh. You're good.
Didn't even see that one.
Dive into it.
I love it. So yeah, so let's start with that. So I'm gonna copy the lighthouse. And then I'm going to just hide one for now. I'm going to focus on the underwater lighthouse first. So I'm just going to come in here with a big black brush and paint this guy out. And get that pretty good. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect yet. We can come back in and refine that. So, all right, gonna hide the underwater one and show the above water one. And same thing, just paint this bottom out. And you guys will see in a second why we are splitting these.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just focus for now on our underwater scene. Just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Really liking these colors here, looking really cool. Okay, so we wanna drag our water underneath. So now we can see our lighthouse is starting to get underwater. This is really looking cool. So then we're gonna add our water line. Bring this up to full opacity, add a layer mask, and I'm just gonna quickly brush out all of this that I don't need, and I don't even need this top water. Or actually I will keep that top water. We're just working, painting.
Work your magic. All right.
So I'm just doing kind of like a rough layer mask of the water here. And then I'm going to come to my underwater water, and add a layer mask to that as well and get rid of this. So a lot of people, like, you know, you can do this with the selection tool, however you kind of want to cut things out. I'm a big fan of just painting my layer mask. Works really well for me. Okay, so right now what I want to do is just name these. So I'm just going to click on the name, and I'm just going to put underwater lighthouse. And as we talked about yesterday, I don't usually name my layers because I get really messy, but this is so important because these two lighthouses get kind of confusing. You're like, which one am I working on here? So I'm just going to call this AW for above water lighthouse.
Ooh.
Oh, fireworks.
We're above water. We're ready to dive into Chat and Win right now. Let's do it. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for Chat and Win. All that means is you need to say something in chat, like, hey, what's up? Nice hair today.
Oh,
you know, whatever. Compliments are nice.
Yes.
Sure. Appreciate them. And we'll pick somebody at random, and they will get this nice Moo sketchbook that not only has this nice sleeve, but also has a couple different things going on. And again, you gotta add your, you know, your deep insights in here and amazing sketches. So those don't come with it, but we have full faith in you, the winner of this. And again, just from Moo, our friends at Moo. And hey, why not? Why not give that away? Just because we can. And looks like we want to thank, Adelson Moraes. Adelson Moraes, congratulations! You are the proud winner. Paco's gonna send this. He's gonna hop on a plane and get out of here since Gus is not here. But Paco will hop on and drop it off wherever you are, and then quickly run back because he also is our resident DJ. And for everybody else, moo.com/Adobe Live will get you 15% off anything there. So make a poster today. Dive into that challenge. And hey, print it out. Put it on the back of your business card or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys create. Super cool.
And thank you just for joining us. Hingan might have just joined us. So I'm with Anna McNaught. We are making a surreal, well, I don't know, what would you call this? It's a composite.
Yeah, composite surrealism lighthouse that is half underwater.
Yeah, just because we can. Because we say, hey, why not? You know?
Yeah. So yeah, right now we are working on this underwater section of getting the lighthouse to look like it's actually underwater. So let's see, what are we gonna work on next? Okay. So one of the keys here that we want to do is we want to have our lighthouse kind of coming up into this water here. Okay, so I'm just gonna start to brush this out with a low flow. We're gonna kind of get
Why
that.
not with McNaught?
Love it.
That's pretty much sums up this, because like, why not put the lighthouse underwater?
Yeah, exactly.
It works.
Exactly.
Roman wins for that. Copywriting,
Why not
credits.
with McNaught? Love it. Okay. So this is starting to look pretty good. We can go back in and kind of figure out where we want the edge of this lighthouse to lie. So the first thing we're gonna do is so you can see now, we're starting to have our separation here. And if you think about something being underwater, and I actually discovered this by looking at a straw into some water, and it actually gets distorted and like a little bit bigger. So you can see here on the image before where I actually like had the lighthouse kind of come out here. All right.
Yeah, like magnified. Is it distorted or magnified or both?
It's like magnified and the perspective changes. So what we're gonna do is on our layer, we're gonna come over to edit, transform, and we're just gonna go to perspective here. And then we're just gonna drag these corners out a bit and kind of bring it back down.
Yeah, Ty, you are right. Yeah. Yes, Anna would make the lighthouse a smidge bigger. So yeah, good call.
Yep.
That's exactly what we're doing. Giving a little bit distortion, skewing the perspective a little bit.
Yeah, and so just kind of playing with this until it starts to look pretty good.
Kevin, that's a good question. We'll answer that. I don't want to screw you up. In terms of like your ideas, how you come up with these ideas?
Yeah, so a lot of my ideas come from, seeing like paintings or famous pieces of art, other people's work, and kind of taking my own twists on it. But I also really get inspired from nature and dreams. And I was telling Paul yesterday, once you kind of start doing this work, you start to see things in a different way, and you start to kind of like look at the world almost in this like weird surrealist vibe.
Yeah, that's really cool. And feel free, like, even if I feel like it's okay, even if you do see something out there, you're like, oh, that's a good idea. The traditional, like, I think we might have saw this actually yesterday. Instead of somebody holding, balloons, they're planets.
Right.
Like there's some common themes that you might see, but go ahead and try that. I just say try it.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, definitely trying things out, and like Paul said, if you see something that's kind of cool, but you think of a way that you could change it and make it more unique, make it have like your own unique style, then that's super.
Because like my experience is, even when you're trying to copy something, you never do it the same way. It just doesn't come out the same way. It's going to be different. You're using different photos, but the important thing is that, like, you're learning, and kind of you're learning by doing. That's what the challenge is all about. Exactly.
And so, in my course, I provide like all these source files too. So if you want to like work along with me, I love the students that have taken this course, because it's cool to see their unique spin on this lighthouse edit. So, okay, so now what we're gonna do is just put this lighthouse underwater. So we're kind of underwater now, but we need to really add that effect. So I'm gonna copy my underwater layer, and I'm gonna put it on top of my underwater lighthouse. So now here is where you definitely wanna start like putting your layers into folders. So you can see on this original image here, I have everything in folders. Let's zoom in on that.
Can you make that's awesome. Sweet.
How do I get over there?
You want to move over there?
Yeah.
Like that?
He makes it look easy. So you guys can see here I have like the base layers, the background, the underwater, the top of the lighthouse, and then all of the lighting effects and everything up here. So that's just a really good way to kind of start to organize. And we don't have to do that today because it takes some time. But okay, so now we have this underwater top layer, and what we're gonna do is just play around with the opacity, and we can even do this as an overlay. Let's see. So sometimes I just like to play with the blending modes. Like, to be honest, I don't like how this overlay looks. Things start to look a bit weird. So what I'm gonna do is just keep it at normal, lower the opacity just a bit, and then I'm going to actually layer mask this top one with a low flow. So I'm gonna kind of bring in areas of the lighthouse that might be, that might show through the water a bit more, like this area up here. And then.
And you're removing that water, elements of that water layer.
Yep, so I'm just layer masking this top layer here, and so I actually want most of the lighthouse to be kind of hidden down here. And if you guys remember earlier, I said that layer mask on the lighthouse doesn't have to be perfect because we are working on hiding it down here.
Priyanka's wondering what type of photography you like to do.
I like to do landscape photography. I really like, sunsets, like this background here. I did not take this, but I love, anything where I can be outside in nature. I really don't like taking photos of people. I used to love it, but now
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Now it's all about the scenery and kind of like having that meditative space to get away from people. All right, let's see. We have a bit of that lighthouse creeping down here. Right behind Paul. Can't see it.
Oh.
Okay, so you can see that we're starting to have some of these little details come back in and just kind of painting around in here.
So, oh yeah, Roman's saying, you know, you got to Marie Kondo your Photoshop layers.
Yes, totally.
Which is awesome. But what I'd love to see, because what we're doing, like we have, you know, we have something called like Adobe Sensei, which is just saying we have AI that we're working on in everything. I would love to have some AI in Photoshop to where it automatically names your layers because it's reading it.
Yes.
You could read it, it knows that it's a person, and it says person.
Oh, that would be... That would be a game changer.
Boom. It's going to recognize that shape as a lighthouse.
Yes.
And then, and sometimes look at the funny results.
That really...
You have a picture of you, and it's like, obviously this is some type of golden retriever. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, I'm not
like,
a dog.
right? You know, it's going to get it wrong sometimes. Like, what are you talking about? I'm so offended.
Yeah. What? Excuse me? Okay, so...
Bianca, thank you for joining us, too, and keep the questions coming.
So now what I want to do is just kind of clean up this water line here. I kind of just quickly layer mask this out. So I'm going to bring my flow back up and let's just kind of bring this back in here. And so now, sometimes I'll just do it fast so I can start to figure out the composition and then kind of come back in and I'll paint over in white to bring it all back in. I just realized I'm using my trackpad on my laptop when I have a mouse. Like, why am I being so slow?
You were doing great. Like, and then at this point, you're like, okay, I need a little more control.
I'm like, I need to flow with this a bit better. So,
ooh, I like that. Ryan mentions, I like the idea of having light bounce off of the water onto the lighthouse above. Like, up here. That's an interesting, and that's something I'd have to, like, you know, boat on water. Like, I'd have to do some research. Like, how's that gonna look?
Yeah, so that was something that I kind of played with.
What sort of spillover do you have? Or
right.
Whatever.
In this one, I was playing with light down here, but I didn't bounce it back up on the lighthouse, but I really like that idea because I think realistically it would bounce a bit because water is reflective, so.
Mm-hmm. Good call.
Yeah. So yeah, just painting with white to bring this back in because I did it so quickly, just to get the composition. And so now I'm going to go back in with black and just clean that up a bit. And this is something that I would really take my time with and paint that out and maybe spend like 30 minutes or so, like just really, really making this edge nice. But when, you know, we're on live and we're working fast and we're trying to get an idea out, it's just something we're going to do quickly.
I like where your head's at, Paul's like, you know, dodge. You like, if you had, well, actually that wouldn't work, would it? Dodge with the mouse in your left hand, but burn with the trackpad.
Can you do that?
That would be really, you can't really do that,
yeah,
but that would be kind of cool.
I don't, oh yeah, I can't control both without it being like,
you'd have to assign, you'd have to assign some hardware. That'd be a hardware thing, but I like that idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so I want to make sure, I want to put this above water lighthouse on top of the water line so I can come in and clean this up here. So I'm kind of like following the edges of the waves to get this in place. And then I like to kind of go back and again, refine it later and figure out where exactly that would fall. And like maybe we end up putting some splash coming up on the lighthouse even, you know, from the water. That would be super cool. So, okay, so we're starting to kind of get something happening here. Our lighthouse is now underwater, it's a bit bigger, and so the things we have to do next is clean up the all the edges and everything, and then dive into the color on the water, because we can see we have this like I keep saying that.
Oh, I love it. No, it's like so appropriate. It's the only word.
And then maybe you guys can help me figure out what we want to put in the water. Like, do we want a huge fish or a shark or a whale? I see someone talking about some killer whales.
Yeah.
So we can play with that too.
Yeah, people are talking about Michael Bay explosions, like Michael Bay style, J.J. Abrams. Like, I've heard lots of different styles. Which is interesting.
Yes, perfect.
Maybe we put Aquaman down there.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Like the original, not the new one. Or what is that other guy's name? There's another.
Ooh, a little seal line, a seal, that would be cool. Let's see.
Merman or mermaid.
Oh yeah, a mermaid would be cool. Ooh, okay. So now I'm gonna color this water.
A kraken. Love it.
A killer penguin. Cool.
Let's do it like a mermaid, but it's a reverse mermaid to where it like has people legs and a fish head.
That would be kind of creepy and cool.
That would be really creepy.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh, so funny. So here, okay, so yesterday we talked a lot about this, adding clipping masks to your layers, and this is a really important thing, and just to go over what we did yesterday, if you add an adjustment layer like I did here, and then just change the color, it's gonna affect the whole thing. So if you click this little button here, or right click on your layer, or someone was showing us yesterday holding down Alt and dragging it down, lots of different ways, but if you do that, it's only gonna affect the layer beneath it that it's actually clipped to. So in this case, we're changing our water, and we just wanna kind of change that blue. So it's super cyan right now. We just wanna kind of get it into a bit more of the bluish tones.
And you're just affecting the water underneath the ripple.
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
Kind of get that to match up a little bit. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
A narwhal, I like it. Oh, this is the guy I was thinking of.
Submariner.
No.
Submariner.
Submariner.
Wow, like submariner.
Submariner. That's awesome.
Great. You know, haven't had enough coffee yet today. Submariner.
Prince Namor, the Submariner.
Oh.
But like, that's a blast from the past.
Oh, man. So embarrassing.
That's funny.
Okay, so now our water's starting to look pretty good, and because we kind of darkened this and made it a bit bluer, we're starting to lose some of our lighthouse, so we could always come back to this top underwater layer and then paint a bit of that, paint that lower lighthouse back in. So we just want to do it ever so slightly.
I'm kind of wondering if, and you just painting with black on that layer.
Yeah, so I put the water over top of the, copied the water and added it over top of the lighthouse.
And I'm wondering, I'm just looking at references of like underwater stuff. Mm-hmm. Just because.
Yeah, what are you seeing?
Nothing really. I was trying to decide if that lighthouse down here, if it needs to be slightly blurry.
Yeah, that's actually something that would be important too. And so...
Oh, I like the nice patio set. Sorry, it was a little loud. A little patio set underwater. Maybe a nice patio set. That's awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. Hang out down there. So yeah, we could definitely blur this.
Like not now. That might be a later on thing because you'd have to do it like it would be a whole thing.
Yeah. So
I like it. I like what you're doing because even as you're painting here, it's like some of the things like this house that's a touch closer, like it might be a touch clearer or than something than the lighthouse right behind. I don't know.
Yeah, so you can kind of like play with that, and then let's see, go back to the top underwater layer, and so then if you painted with white, you could bring, let's see, I'm at
I love it.
You
I
want
like
that?
I like what you're like. That looks good. Like I like it.
Yeah,
I
it
like
looks kind of
like that.
cool being like in the background like
yeah,
that.
it kind of sells that depth a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
And then, yeah, like Paul was saying, we could bring out this a bit
Yeah.
more, you know?
Just like, yeah, just subtleties.
Yeah. So I could really get into that water and like start playing with it even more. And that's where I kind of like end up adding the time onto my work. But we're going to just move into this water line. So when I actually was creating this water line was giving me such an issue because I kept trying to change the color here where it's really green on this edge. And then I eventually ended up just erasing it completely or layer masking it out completely. So we can kind of play with that and see what ends up looking good today. So here I'm just gonna get rid of, there's some fish coming through from the old layer here. So I'm just getting rid of that and going along this line.
People want lawyers underwater. People are making statements out there. Hey, there are good lawyers out there, people.
A layer of lawyers. That's like Bob Loblaw from
I know.
Arrested
Bob
Development. Bob Loblaw. Layers of lawyers. Okay. So that's starting to look pretty good. I have that edge now. And so then we could go in and add an adjustment layer to that as well. And then just kind of change the color. So again, clipping mask and trying to get rid of that green. So like I said in a previous edit that I did of this, I just ended up layer masking that out completely. So I don't know if we want to get rid of it or if we like it.
Yeah, what's everybody's thoughts? Like now that when you point it out, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of striking. I don't think it should disappear. I think it should just be like a touch, like more shifted more toward blue as opposed to green.
Yeah, yeah. So Tim said you can target the green via the hue saturation adjustment layer. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I have done that with this guy. I don't know why this dumb water line is such a pain.
Yeah, like how would you, I mean, let's think about this.
Let's see something.
I would.
Whoa. Yeah, that looks good.
Is that that's a new layer where you, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, let's see.
And really just shift it just a touch.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even need to.
You could even just like
That's so interesting. Yeah.
lower the opacity on it.
Are you Oh, so when you so when you do shift it more toward blue, everything else turns really purple. So you just really have to like isolate that one little.
Right. And so
I think it looks. I like that. Again, we're just focusing on that highlight, right?
Yep.
That little highlight.
Yep. So
Yeah.
so usually what I do is like I'll do the entire layer. I know Tim said don't focus on the whole layer, but then I'll invert it and then I'll just paint that area back in when I kind of get everything like matched elsewhere.
Yeah.
So it's not quite right yet, but we can keep working on that.
Yeah. And that's a little, I think, like there's still this sky and stuff that we need to work on and other things.
Yep. We need to go
Yeah.
into the sky and getting everything else in place.
That's good, Tim. Keep the advice coming. That's good. Like you could target just the greens and do different things with the hue and saturation. And
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. That's cool to see. Okay, so let's play with this sky and do some coloring and some curves on it and everything. And I do want to add some curves to the water as well. So I really like the color of this sky, but maybe we can just see what would happen if we started playing with the colors.
Let's play with those colors into it.
So maybe we kind of match the water a bit.
I think it's interesting. People just giving different like thoughts on how to change like that line.
Yeah, I know everyone's
Because
like.
I was originally thinking what Fabiola was saying, which is like a new layer, and then just I would try to just paint over the top of it in the color that I want, and then I would start to go through the layer modes and see what that does. But great, like I love hearing everybody's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, lots of good
ideas.
suggestions. I should do this every time I edit to get ideas.
Yeah. So right now, so you're changing that background sky. This is going to be interesting
Yeah.
because there's a lot of. Oh yeah, are you gonna play? Are we gonna play with this?
Yeah, let's play with
Okay,
it. Let's see
play
what
with
color
this.
we want to make it, because I really like these colors as it is, but maybe we can just like go to a crazy extreme. What do you guys think?
Oh, I have a suggestion.
What do you think?
Can we put a? So what I like the idea of is shifting it more toward green. I think it should be that middle part should go more toward, like you were playing with that at some point and just like scrubbing it, but like that looks. I'm trying to kind of get it to match the water below it just a little bit. Like that's starting to look pretty good. It's washed out, so I would then increase the saturation.
Yeah.
Now, once you get the color right, you know, crank up the saturation using another, another adjustment layer.
Yeah, so let's add that hue.
I can, maybe just a touch, but yeah.
I'm even curious to see, like, oh yeah. Sometimes that's fun to play with too.
So yeah, Rasim says tone down the highlights. Priyanka says green tone will go better.
Green.
Orange, like Maxfield Parrish. Or like I like the thought of like warms and cools. That's why the sky is nice. It's like warms and cools.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I've
so that
seen
yellow
this.
sounds like people like that yellow contrast. That's good.
Cool. Yeah, because I've seen people do this like where it's like the whole thing's a really orange tone. I see some people saying like more destruction and more kind of like apocalyptic looking. But I like to make everything dreamy.
Yeah. Now, I guess my next thought is, do we need to raise those clouds up higher?
Yeah, we definitely could do that too. Let's see.
Just because I think it's almost like anytime I see clouds like that, that looks more realistic.
Yeah, because then what we're going to do later on is add this guy behind.
Oh, sweet.
So this will actually, let's just play with that right now.
Orange, complementary color, yeah. We'll make sure I have some of that. That's good. A curves layer on top of it, set to soft light.
We're gonna play with that in a bit, getting that light.
Mm-hmm. But that helps a lot. That I think that helps.
Yeah.
That helps a lot. And then we can
darken everything.
Yeah, how are we doing? How does everybody feel? How are we doing here? Is that sky, is it green enough? I think the intensity of the colors, nailing it.
Yeah, I think.
Do we need more? Like, how's it looking? I feel like what you would eventually do is you would then make a camera raw filter. Is what you do.
Yeah,
and that will really like tie it all together.
Exactly, and I think I might even later on change the color of this water a bit more too, to kind of get like the highlights to match these oranges, and then get the water to be a bit more like purpley blue. But I think what I want to do right now is add some curves, because playing with that darkness is going to start to give those colors a different look, and we might see things differently.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's first add just a bit to our underwater lighthouse. I just want to darken it up. Oh, just kidding. We're not on an underwater lighthouse. Okay. So let's see. Curves. Clipping mask. Now we're good. So we could darken this a bit if we want. Maybe it doesn't even need it. But to just kind of get this down here, and then I might even come in with a black brush and a low flow now you guys probably have seen that I really like low flow on everything, and just paint out the curves up here and let this really disappear into the darkness of the ocean. And then maybe this is where we'll add something in. So then I want to go to my above water lighthouse and add some curves here. So in this case, because the sun's coming behind it, I definitely want to make this just a lot darker and bring this down.
Hey Lex, good to see you here, buddy. Lex is, he's been a guest with us. He does a little UX UI design. We have a XD challenge going on now, but good to see you, man. It looks like he's gonna try his hand at the Photoshop little challenge that we have today.
Awesome.
That's in the challenge tab. That's why we have the clock on the other side of us. You have about less than 30 minutes.
So I'm just kind of adjusting this lighthouse to get things looking how I might want them. And then I might even come in and we still have to clean up our balcony, which we might not have time for, but I do want to just bring this back in because the light would be shining behind here.
Yeah. Yeah, the lighthouse is way too unweathered. It could have just flooded.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it's not.
Yeah, you never know.
We're making up whatever reality we want. But I like that idea because I think just like making something look like, I don't know, corroded and kind of like barnacles on it is kind of just a fun idea.
That would be really cool. Okay, so
SpongeBob. Put SpongeBob down there.
yeah.
I still like the put a nice patio set. I still like
I
that
know,
comment
that's
the
so
best.
funny. All right, so just kind of playing with this, getting things to kind of look the way I want them. And I'm not quite loving the lighthouse, but we can kind of do some work on it. So we added some curves to darken it, and then we added some hue and saturation. I just desaturated it a bit because it was, if I turn this color balance off, it was like really yellowy.
Yeah, it was. And it's interesting, you kind of like, you play with it, you definitely notice a difference as you start to turn on and off these layers.
Yeah.
You can push it too, like, I just like how you're playing with all of this.
Cool.
Into it, like it. Said hiya, good to have you here, welcome. Add some water disturbance around the lighthouse and a touch of shadow where they meet. So that's where I was just like Googling references.
Right.
Just like something where, and I was doing more than just searching on Aquaman. But just like where those two things meet.
Yeah,
where
yeah,
a boat
definitely.
meets, or something meets, a pole meets, or meets a water.
Yeah, adding some splash in there I think would be really cool. The shadow, I think, like someone said. And then, yeah, Ty says, with the light source coming from behind, would the edges of the lighthouse be lighter than the center? Definitely. I think that would kind of give like that rim light.
Yeah, I agree.
So what we could do with that is go to our top lighthouse. Let's see, we got curves here.
You were right, Ty. Everybody's so smart.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know what Anna's plans for the space in the dead center. I think she already has something in the dead center. Like, I don't know what part you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think it's looking good.
I'd like to know more about what he means by that as well. So
I don't even think it needs, I mean, I think it could use some underwater, like some fish, like, you know, as if there's land fish.
Definitely.
Put in some underwater fish.
Definitely want to add
but like
some
a little bit of life, but nothing. Like, I'm sure I want a kraken in there, sure, but I don't like just a little bit of something.
Let's see, here's some little fish. We could add those, but I feel like we should add something crazy.
Oh yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, we could totally.
some little fishies. And then, let's see. So on this image that I have from before, here's without the red effect. You can see that I did get rid of this green area here and then added my little fish there. And then put added the kid fishing and then the moon behind to add that light. So I think here what I could have done is definitely added that rim light that we were just talking about. So to be honest, I'm much more of a fan of the moon scene. I think the moon like really goes nicely with this water scene because the sunset is definitely a challenge to match.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe we start to add some highlights onto the water. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think so. Some like whatever. Yeah, if you think so.
Maybe we need.
You're the boss. I really liked when you added that like that flare in the background.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That was just. I think that's like, because that seems like a major element that's gonna, you know, inform the rest of it.
Totally. So we
But
could
I don't know
play
if
with
you're
that.
ready for that, because it sounds like
Maybe we do get into that, and then we can start figuring out how the light would be touching along the edges here, and then how it's going to touch the water here.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think in this case I might even add a layer, just a layer that's clipped to this water line, and then come in and paint with white. Let's see how this is gonna look. And set the mode to overlay.
That's good, Alex. The whole thought of having the sky reflect on the water. That's really good. And even just like, again, how this light, you know, interacts with that water. Good points.
Yeah, definitely.
I think maybe that's what it's needed, because it still feels kind of separate.
Definitely. We need to get that light down onto the water, get the sky reflecting. So let's see. Like, so we can come in with doing this with white and painting with an overlay to kind of bring some light down, but you can see we're definitely like a bit too greenish here, so we could kind of play with the colors again in that. And then we could even copy this layer and flip it and reflect it into the water.
Yeah,
the sky.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens with that. So I'm just gonna copy.
I hate it how that happens.
I know.
It like always breaks your clipping masks.
Yeah. Anybody know how to avoid that?
And no, I mean I don't know if there's a way. Do you want to minimize, since you're not really using the color panel? Can you like kind of minimize the color? Like open it up, but double click on the up.
There we go.
And then like just I feel like you're working in that small square.
Yeah.
I want to really be able to see that stuff.
I got some small little
There we
layers
go.
happening down here.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, now we can see more.
It's kind of looking. You've done a lot of work. It's looking kind of complex, but this looks like all my Photoshop files.
Yeah, I know. So it's definitely looking a bit crazy down here. So maybe what we want to do is just...
I respect how you showed the final file. You're like, look, I organize. I usually organize these.
I did Marie Kondo my my files,
Everything was
but
like in little layer groups.
Yeah. So we can just select those layers there. And then put them into a folder. So let's just call this background. And then we have our underwater. We've got our underwater here, all the way up through here. Click the file.
Yeah, that's good, Fabiola. Great call. Like the windows and stuff being like more transparent, or like you're saying, like because you're flipping it now, so you can continue to work. Like I don't mean to throw you off.
Oh, that's...
But like you're gonna flip the sky in the water, but also like what is reflected on the glass through that glass. Like that whole glass is an important element.
Oh, definitely. I feel like that's such an important thing. So we'll play with that. So let's see. This was the underwater. I like that Paul says when you Marie Kondo your file, you have to thank each layer when you delete it. These layers are bringing me joy.
Yeah. Some more than others.
Yeah. Actually, they're bringing me not joy right now, but we'll get to the joy. Okay, so now we have a lot more organization happening here, so that's really good. Okay, so I'm going to take my sky layer and then I'm just gonna transform it. We might not even need to do this, but I'm gonna flip it vertical just to kind of get, let's zoom out here, just to get this edge here. Gotta bring it up. Oh yeah. And so then we could, I'm gonna actually clip this to the water.
Keep in mind we have 20 minutes before this challenge is up. It's about creating a movie poster. I think that's a good tip because as we dive in, we start to look at this. Reflective surfaces, transparent surfaces like that, those are tough sells. So
Yeah.
you kind of need to know which, it's going to take a lot more work.
Oh yeah, this is like a very in-depth edit, and it's hard to even to focus on exactly what I'm doing on here to really dive into these little details. And even on the one that I was showing from before, I think I probably could have spent a lot more time on here getting some reflections in the window, getting some reflections on the building, and so this goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. How no matter what level you're at, you're always learning something new.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, if you are starting out, maybe that's if you wanted to steer away from something, would be something reflective or glass or like, again, take a balloon and turn it into the moon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like things that are easier.
Or really just like any of your work as well. I think there's some like great ideas that you can kind of riff off of.
Yeah.
I think it's fun playing with size of things. Something that's really large, make it small.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
What you're doing here, something that's usually on land is underwater.
Mm-hmm.
Flip everything on its head.
Yeah. So
use distort to make the tower a reflection on the water.
Guess so we should have a reflection on the water too.
Yeah, what it will need is a shadow, and kind of what's happening there, which is why I like that part, is it looks like it's the shadow of the lighthouse on the water.
Yeah,
that's why
right
that's
there.
working.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I almost think like you just need and turn on that layer again, and we'll just kind of talk about it.
This layer?
Yeah, perfect. Like it's working right here because essentially you're taking the color of the sky, and that makes total sense.
Yeah,
but like you almost want to erase part of it
Definitely.
over on the other side. But I'm hopefully that's heading in the right direction. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm almost thinking that I flip this light here, or I flip the sky and I'm reflecting it, but I'm almost starting to think about like getting rid of that and then painting, sampling these colors and painting on the water.
Yeah.
So we could try that. So, and let's see.
Yeah, and while you do that, I'm gonna check out the submissions. Yesterday we got so many.
I know, yesterday was awesome. I love seeing what you guys are creating.
Yeah.
So I'm just painting here, and then I might clip it and then set it as an overlay. So I'm just kind of honestly playing around to see what's gonna look good here. Like overlay is gonna make it look weird.
Oh, I like that highlight though.
Yeah.
Like that like I'm kind of, yeah, let's. And then what were some of the others?
Let's see. So we could do soft light, but that's not doing a whole lot. And then normal, but we need to definitely get that like pop back in.
Yeah, that's why like you're doing doing good. What were some? How's that looking, everybody?
Maybe with.
I don't know why. Why do you do this? Like I sometimes look at him like, what does turning my head sideways do for me?
I know, it's like
is this a thinking? Is this what I do when I think?
Well,
like, Paul, is your neck okay? No, I'm just thinking about something.
They're like, oh, that
That's
looks
weird.
good. Or it's zooming like all the way out to see kind of what it will look like.
Which is great.
Yeah,
and these are good little tips. Like it really is almost approaching it from a different perspective.
Exactly. I mean, you could even flip it upside down and see if things are working, you know? Like, you know how, I don't know, I learned this trick in art school. When I would be working on a drawing, I would actually take it and hold it up to the mirror, and I would notice things that were backwards that like looked really weird and off. You would notice like edges.
That's what
that's
Tim's talking about,
said.
flipping it.
Cool.
Flip it.
So, yeah, this edit's gonna need a lot more time than we have today.
But I love where everything's at, because, you know, you're really thinking about sort of the real world, everything that's happening. Yeah. And really, you have a couple, this is a complex edit.
Yeah,
which is super fun to look at and think about, and like, how can you sell this as realistic as possible?
Exactly, and like really getting into the reflections, like Paul's saying, and in here, you know, we could even go into our lighthouse, our above water lighthouse here, and then maybe even like masking this out a bit. Let's see. So we still have to clean this up, but.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because I'm like, wow, that's like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm like, oh.
I know. It's
you
like,
almost want to just like it's the tower. It's not even a lighthouse anymore. We just chop it off.
I know. Like, we could just come in and be like.
But I think it'll like pay off.
There we go.
This is what I would do.
Get rid of it.
Can you undo that?
Yeah.
Could you, with this, go through some of the layer blend modes?
Yeah.
Can we try that?
Yeah,
on that
to
layer?
see what would happen here.
Wrong?
Let's try it.
Because sometimes that'll just like, we're going to try to find one where it just looks like it's like kind of a transparent.
Oh, it's gone.
And I don't know if we'll find one, because that's awfully white, but
it's like a dream, like a heavenly lighthouse now.
Like that is closer to, you know, that almost does a lot of work for us. Like that could just the top part, is that set to overlay, is a thought.
That could definitely be good.
That's looking really, that actually brightens a lot of that up, because this was looking like a black hole in the center there.
And then look, you can paint these little rungs back in, so that's really nice.
But it looks really, that hopefully that's looking better. I don't know, just thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, that you are now starting to, wait, let's get rid of this up here.
And yeah, so Tim's, you can increase the contrast with levels and do different things. But yeah.
Cool, so that top part's definitely looking better, and then we just have to copy this again and add it back. Yeah, that was a good idea to do the blending mode. So blending modes are great when you're trying to make something match the background or have light shine through. Like you can see now, if we go here back to normal, we'd have to mask all of this out. Or, you know, get rid of it and brush.
You'd have to go through all that work, or
that would suck.
And we're all about efficiency around here.
Yeah.
We got like, we're on a schedule.
Yep.
And we only have you know, till 11. And
exactly.
we have the submission deadline coming up in 12 minutes.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see. Oh, you know what? I wonder if okay, no, we need those guys. I'm just going to copy this whole folder.
Do it. You do your thing.
And then turn this back into a normal. And then just layer mask this stuff.
And you could layer, do it. Go for it. One thing, I don't know, I think I learned this, I never used to do it. I probably learned this a couple years ago, that you can have layer masks on folders.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Which is a really cool, you don't need to do it here, but like, that's just remember that. I'm like, that's
and
pretty darn, I think Photoshop's one of those, like, the developers freaking work their butt off on it, and I feel like everything that I want to work does work. Because I was like, I really want to add a layer mask to this folder. Sure enough, it works.
Yeah, exactly. And even adding like adjustment layers to folders too when you're changing that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
like
that's very good, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Let's see. So like our underwater, we have all these layers. So I think we could just add an adjustment layer to the water. Zoom out here, and it would adjust all those layers.
Yeah.
All
That's
the
really
underwater layers. So that's really cool because that's a great thing, like how we have these two waters are separate right now in our folder. We could adjust them individually, or we could come in and then adjust them together. So we could start to get that kind of matching the sky.
And then I would love to, you know, I would love to have you tackle this like from a camera raw like filter type of overall like color adjustments when you if we make it that far.
Oh yeah.
But how are we feeling about this, everybody?
It definitely needs a lot of work, as you guys can see, but I think it's starting to get into a better realm than where it was, right?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like yeah. Should we talk about that? Like what else it needs?
Yeah. So I think yeah, there's probably a couple things. Yeah. So I think we could, if I were to spend more time on this, like really get this edge here of the lighthouse to match the wave, and then to have some splash and shadow coming up. Then maybe give more of a shadow in here, a reflection here of the lighthouse, and a bit darker, and then have these light rays really coming down onto the water right here. That would be important. And then even
sorry, what was that last part? I was reading that comment.
Oh, yeah.
What did you say with that last part? Like getting stuff come up here? What?
Getting these light rays from here to come down, and they would kind of like
like a rim light?
Yeah, so I can kind of show you guys. So realistically, like if these light rays were coming down from the sky, they would touch here, they would touch here, and they'd kind of go out from here. And go into this, and then they'd even come down into this area here.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
that would be cool.
So that's like, yeah, you want to stay on for 3 more hours, maybe 10.
But I love where your head's at, because you're exactly right. You add that light source and like how it affects so many different parts of this.
Yeah, so
but it's really gonna sell it. And just even what you just did there with a simple brush stroke of white right here, I was like, oh yeah, totally. That's what it needs.
I mean, you could even come in and like play with, you know, if you did this, and then like
that. I get the idea. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. So if we set that to overlay and put it on our lighthouse. You know, like
yeah, that's already so good. Yeah, I'm into that. That's selling it. It's like
we have a lot going on here. It's a mess. But definitely starting to get things like looking good. And then
Lindsay Palmer's in the house. Hello, Lindsay. And we do have you tomorrow. What is the plan for tomorrow, by the way?
I think tomorrow we're gonna go to outer space.
What? We are on more ways than one. Are we doing that?
Yep,
actually?
Exactly. That's why I feel like it's perfect.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and tomorrow I really want to get into some light painting and like creating glow using a gradient map. So I was gonna do that today, which is how I did all of this up here. But I think we'll save it for tomorrow, so you guys can come back and hang out.
And you do have you have about 6 minutes to.
Okay, so
you probably have a total of 10 minutes left to work on whatever we want to.
I think, should we throw this into Camera Raw and just see how I would?
I would love to see you. Yeah, I think it was really cool when you did that yesterday.
Okay, so I'm just copying all the layers and then merging them. Oh, Evan's back in the house.
Evan. Hey, brother.
Hey, brother.
Hi, brother. Evan knows.
Yeah.
He knows what's up. He could be like, yeah, you need to tweak this. You just like need to.
Oh, what did I just?
That needs to be a. You need to adjust the cyan a little.
Exactly. Yeah, he'll
but
definitely.
Since he's not in the industry, he'd call it cayenne. No, that's a pepper. It's cyan. Just kidding.
He definitely knows that for sure.
Okay, good.
Oh, cayenne.
Can you add some cayenne to it? Can you spice it up?
Add a little cayenne and I love all the ways people pronounce things, including myself, like
I'm horrible.
Submariner.
You know Submariner?
Yeah,
Submariner.
I'm the worst when it comes to pronouncing anything.
I'm bad too.
I get it from my dad. Shout out to my dad.
And you feel like an idiot. You're like you usually you know you're not saying it right though, kind of. Like you're like I did that literally last night. I'm like, how do you know the word I'm saying?
Yeah, I was doing that last night with Estes Park. Paul called me out.
Estes Park.
Estes Park. Paul was like, no.
Estes Park.
Estes.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So here we are in camera raw, getting distracted, but these are good things. So as we did yesterday, maybe do some basic adjustments like and just so you guys know, before you go off in the chat, like this is definitely not finished and definitely not to the point of being ready for camera raw, because these are the final adjustments that I make before posting it to Instagram or before printing it out to sell. So you would do this like final step when you're ready for everything to be done. So I might just like adjust the exposure, bring the contrast up a bit. Like sometimes I even like to just bring the saturation down a lot. So you can see from here, personally, like I don't really like overly saturated images, although I do use a lot of bright tones in my work. Like just, you can see from here, fully saturated to just bringing it down like a hair. It kind of gives it more of this like dreamy, romantic look.
It's definitely, that helps.
Yeah.
Because I think that's good.
So then I usually will go into split toning, and I always, I talked about this yesterday, I always make my highlights warm and then my shadows cool. And so, you can, like if we had properly colored this sky and the water to match, we can see here it's definitely very off, but then these highlights would all kind of sync up and the shadows would sync up and this would like blend very nicely. So then what we did yesterday too is I love to add radial filters, and so I might come in here and add one here around the front of the lighthouse. So you just want to make sure you're on the inside, and so I would just bring that exposure up, make it real warm.
Oh, Nicholas Frederico's never used Camera Raw. Yeah, I think you'll really like it because look at all the selections all the options you have. Yeah. And right now you're again targeting that one area with a radial filter. Yeah, and I'm even gonna add. Again, if this waterline was like finished and touched up, like I might even add just some little, and you could do this with the brush too, but I just like radial filter. So just add a little there. And if you just keep clicking new, you can add like different areas. So we could kind of like bump that light coming down into the water here. Maybe bring it like cooler a bit. So this helps out so much. Yeah, it's so nice. I love Camera Raw. Like but even everything you're doing to the piece, because it was feeling very, very much like 3 planes or something. Like this adds so much like depth. Yeah. And same thing you did yesterday was so cool just to it starts to tie it all together. Those colors even look like they're tied together a little more. Exactly. Like it just really helps bring the piece together, add depth, add interest. And so then I might add like a new one, center around the lighthouse. And then go to, that looks cool. Yeah, now it's like really glowing. So we could leave that like that. Or, sometimes I'll click outside and then switch this from being bright to being dark, make everything a lot cooler, bring that saturation down. Let's see. And then maybe even add one more, just going down the front of the lighthouse. You know what? I'm gonna add 2 more because why not? Okay, so new and then inside. Just pop that glow a bit more. Like now I'm just really playing. Now I'm like really getting super fun. You're almost like making this your own for sure. Yeah. This is also like your style, looking through your stuff like
Exactly.
Just these glows. I can kind of see you.
I'm like obsessed with using Camera Raw. So let's just click OK on that. Like, watch this difference. This is my favorite thing. Okay, so here is before and here's after.
Come on now. It looks so good.
It's
I mean, what a world of difference. Like,
yeah.
because literally you just did that. Can you do it before? Like, which is really strong, but then this just... And you had lots of disclaimers. You're like, I'm not done with this, but just to get you some results right away.
I keep saying, like, so everyone in the chat isn't like, oh my God, edges, bad edges.
I know, right?
Like, yes, I know the edges are bad.
Yeah.
I know it's not final. But you can see just how powerful Camera Raw is, how much it's just adding that. Like,
it like ties it all together, like, so, like, amazingly well.
Yeah,
so.
it's like even how little we've done to, like, finalizing things, it still makes a huge difference. And so, and you can also do this by adding adjustment layers and masking everything. But, you know, when I get to that final stage where I'm like, this looks good, everything's cut out the way I want it to be, then boom, add that Camera Raw, and it's like a world of difference. And then as I showed yesterday, we're out of time, but as I showed yesterday, by adding the smart filter to this guy, you can double click it, come back in, and edit the areas. You can see all these dots are where I just added. So it's a good way to make Camera Raw non-destructive.
And like, I think, you know, again, people are like, wow, this is great, super cool, amazing information. I do want to point out Rocky. I did see your comment in there, buddy. Like, because he's a professional touch-up artist, and he does it the exact same way.
Oh,
that you
cool.
Do. Basically, he's like,
that's definitely good to
turn it
know.
into a smart object and add these, you know,
Yeah.
add this stuff as a smart filter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because I feel like it just it changes everything. I mean, I can't get over this. Like, bad, cool.
Yeah,
Bad,
so
cool.
like, feel free to do that. I know we're gonna dive into these challenge submissions, but like, this is a key thing to do if you're making like a poster. Just, yeah, this is very, very nice. Yeah, those are pro moves. This is all pro tips, pro Photoshop tips, smart object plus Camera Raw, pro moves.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a dance party later.
Oh, yeah.
So that is, dance party starts in 30 minutes.
Perfect.
Right when we're done with the stream.
Yes.
We'll, get that dance party started. But looks like we have some, I'm gonna refresh right here. If you're ready.
Yep, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Into these. Zoop. Here we are. And just so everybody knows, right over here, here's the challenge. But create a movie poster. So challenge tab. You can use whatever you want, whatever photos. We can access this template as well. And then it's through this form that you submit your design or your entry and then just view gallery. So I just want you to jump in and like appreciate the artwork that comes through because these should potentially be linked to Behance. So, create a movie poster. Afroja, first one in, by the way. Again, I wanted to highlight hers earlier. The X-Files. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know?
It's cool. Lots of different pieces.
Cool. And this is a case where I think even what you did with Camera Raw, taking all this, tying it all together, because I think it really is able to, like, I would actually almost make everything black and white here. Might be a good thing to do.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
So, but great job, Afroja. That's like a lot of work. Excellent.
Oh, someone said you just made me get Camera Raw. Good marketing.
Well, the nice thing is it is part of Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have it right in Photoshop, but I actually discovered it not that long ago, and I was just like, wow.
Yeah, like it was very much one of those things like designers didn't use it, but photographers knew about it.
Yeah.
You just didn't really touch it. But now that it's, you know, baked into Photoshop, easily accessible, and has that magic auto button, that's usually what I'll do. Is like, I'm not sure what to adjust, hit auto, you'll see everything kind of change, and then you can kind of tweak from there.
Yeah, and you can learn from that too to see how, you know, okay, well, the brightness is, or the exposure is increased here, so.
Yeah, exactly. Mohammed Mian did a great job. A new moon. That's cool.
That's cool. Love the red.
Yeah, I like the red. Anytime you do really large type, It's good to not have it bold, so I like the blend mode that's added here. Is a good idea.
Yeah.
It's a great job. George.
Ooh, I like that effect on the face.
Oh, that is cool. Into it. Good job, George. Anurag Panchal, The Martian.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
Love Mars.
I almost want to see like a little person, like boop.
Yeah, like a little rover.
Yeah, just like a little, because that will really sell the fact that this is so far away. Or is the, you know, the Earth. I don't know. Love it though. Colors, awesome.
Yeah.
Anel, good job. Saw you got yours in time. Alita, Battle Angel. It's a new movie coming out. Very cool.
Cool.
Let's make sure I get it all. Here we go.
Action film.
Yeah, it's fun. Great color choice, by the way.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I really like the contrast between the blue and, like, the reddish.
Like Anel, I've seen her stuff, like, in the past, and I think this is just has come she's come such a long way, I feel.
Oh,
like,
that's
she's done quite well. This is, like, the colors using this. I don't even know if this is a true gray, but, like, this gray with the white, with this color, and, like, everything that's happening is super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Excuse me. Axel Zapata.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what your lighthouse needs.
I know. I was just
as we
thinking
look
that.
at it, like it needs a dragon on
like,
top.
Yeah, and like I love all the just like gritty destruction. I'm like, man, we could really add some cool things to the lighthouse with this inspiration. Some lava creeping in.
Yeah, really into it. I like this depth of field. This like these little.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's cool.
Great job. Nothing but good things to say about that one. Axel Zapata. Great job. Let's go here. Dikshan.
That's beautiful.
Tamang. Wow.
It's so clean.
Like if you just did this today. Oh yeah, look. Look at this. This was made today.
Whoa. Hey, I'm featured in it.
You are.
Screenplay.
Oh yeah, you are that. You did the screenplay.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I like that.
I would watch this. This is so fun to do with type. I love what's happening with this type.
Yeah.
Right? It's
yeah.
so nice.
That's
so
amazing.
good. Like taking it simple sans serif and making it awesome.
Yeah.
Super impressed. And yeah, I think that's it. So these are all of our entries so far from here to here. Everybody did like a great job. And yeah, super cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I love everyone's work. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Wow. So what we'll do is we'll pick one at the end of the day. And they win Creative Cloud, whoever we pick.
Oh, yeah.
Whoever sends us money.
That's pretty awesome.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
We already have snacks and things. There's nothing you can do. Just we really appreciate you adding entries.
All right. So yeah, should we do anything?
Add a dragon.
Add a dragon. Oh man.
So cool.
It's
Let me
scary.
see what time. Oh wow, we went through these awfully fast. We
I
can
know.
always review these later. I think like yesterday we got so many in.
Yeah.
This was like a manageable number, but I think this is good. And it's always good to look at other people's work. And I think tomorrow we're going to do portfolio reviews, which is I think it's really beneficial.
I'm
like
excited for
everyone.
that. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah, it's so nice.
And we get to go to space, right?
And we get to go to space. And you're going to be working on a space thing, too.
Yeah, it's going to be super
I'm very excited
fun.
about it. But after seeing some of these are so fun. I'm like, I kind of want a dragon there. I want to like, a kraken down below or some like hidden little octopus tentacle or something.
That would be cool. Should we do something like that?
Yeah, we should do something like that.
Okay.
I might even have something.
Yeah, if you have something, that would be great.
Yeah, I think I will have to dig it up. But what we could do, I don't know if you ever use this, but like we can share a CC library.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're just like, it'll just appear
Okay.
like magically. but you'll have to give me a second. But
Okay.
basically, I'm thinking of just giving you an octopus. Oh yeah, I have a couple things. Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Like just a couple things. This one's on white.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So just so everybody knows what I'm doing, since we have time, thank you so much. So I just did a search. Basically, I could share these. I'm going to create a new CC library, right? We'll just call it Adobe Live, and that's what I'm doing right now. So this could be Illustrator, could be any app. And whatever I have in there. So let's just copy that to Adobe Live. Ungroup. This is like, there's brand new things in here that are awesome. Is that right? Hopefully that did it. So anyways, aren't these fun though, by the way?
I
so
love
what I'm
those.
going to do at this point is just, I'm not going to show you your email, but like collaborate will mean that we can both work on this and all that fun stuff. So that is the goal. But I'm going to switch over to your screen.
Okay.
And what email, is it the one that we have?
Yeah.
We've been using? Okay, cool. Just so everybody knows, we have, yeah, this is awesome. We actually have like 20 minutes. So we have some time to add something cool, some fun stuff in there.
Cool. So
Like, don't listen to me. Something cool in there. Let's get something cool in there. No, this is freaking awesome.
yeah, we're gonna add
and it
an
has
octopus.
a message too.
Yeah.
It has a message, people.
Yeah.
Global warming.
Yeah.
Is that the message?
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't want to get like, it shouldn't even, this is not even political. It's like science.
I know.
But
Well, a
we'll stop.
huge octopus might be a result of some weird things happening, but
I know. I'm into it.
all right. So how do I get the file?
Oh yeah, like give me a second.
Okay.
I gotta do my thing.
I actually have been thinking about doing a glowing octopus piece, but I've thrown it out now probably like 3 times. I can't get it right. But eventually you guys will see that from me, a nice big glowing octopus.
Okay, it's that. Right?
Yep.
Cool.
Let's check out the before and after again. Woo! Man, I love that. I love seeing how much it changes.
There we go. So I'm inviting you, just clicking invite. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like they update this, so you might get a notification in a second. Let's like click right there on your Creative Cloud desktop app, like that little guy, boop, and go to apps. It might say that some things are updating, but you should actually get a notification shortly. Click on actually that notifications where it says like whatever. So let's go to your desktop, or go to Photoshop, go to Window, and then open up Files, or excuse me, Library.
Okay, library's open.
Oh, thank you. Well, all right. We're just waiting.
Do you want to switch back to your screen and I'll open my email?
Yeah, sure.
Would that work?
Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, we'll switch over here.
Uh-oh, everyone's holding me to my octopus promise.
I know. And there's other ways to do this, but we'll, yeah, as long as you're signed in Photoshop using that same email too.
Yeah.
And all that, just to confirm, because that's the only time.
Oh, my Photoshop email's different, so that could be.
So maybe we'll get that.
Oh wait,
squared
I
away.
got it.
Oh, you did get it. Okay, cool. Let's see if this does it.
We're having a whole tech lesson over here.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, we're not on your screen yet. But yeah, that stuff is syncing right now. Actually, it looks like something is broken here. There we go. Needed to refresh that. Yeah, things happen. Let's do this. This is, yeah, helmet. So I could view these files here on the website, which is awesome. And then I can actually share it as well from here, which I already did, just FYI.
It's weird.
Is it coming through or no?
No.
That is pretty weird.
I didn't even get.
How about you go into libraries, you could share just an empty library with me.
Okay.
We'll do it the other way.
All right.
So but right in here, just so everybody knows, you can click right here, invite directly from the browser, or get links, so you can actually share this with, you know, your client or whoever. Just a good way to like kind of make sure you're on the same page with assets and all that fun stuff. So, oh yeah. I don't know if you can. Oh, did you get it?
I created a new one.
Okay, good.
I wonder if I can.
There, yeah, invite. And then just enter in my email, which I'm okay sharing it. PTRANI at adobe.com. All right, so I guess I'm changing my email today. Just joking. I don't care. People can email me. And people can get a hold of you even beyond today through mainly Instagram.
Yep.
So this is a good way. I would love, as this is syncing and doing all this, I would love, since you've invited me, let's open up your Instagram on your laptop. And I want to like learn about Instagram tips as well. Because I was looking through your Instagram, like you know, you're probably posting like once every 5 days. Like I want to know everything.
Yeah, you have to sign up for my course if you want everything.
I know. It's so true. And I seriously will, because I want to know everything. Again, having a curated portfolio, if you will, and kind of that's what you think of this as a portfolio of your work. So maybe ditch some of that other stuff. You have 2 separate accounts potentially.
Yep.
And just start pointing everybody to this account for all their sort of Photoshop needs or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely having 2 separate accounts. And I've gotten to the point now with, you know, having my following to a point where I feel, okay,
we're on your screen.
On my screen now. Once I kind of hit a decent following, I was like, okay, I don't need to be posting every single day anymore, because it kind of takes a while now, especially with the algorithm being different, to start to get kind of some likes up and get some traction on each piece. So, you know, I'll post maybe, like once or twice a week. But for those of you that are just getting started, I highly recommend posting at least once a day if you can, you know, even maybe twice a day when you're just getting rolling. Yeah, and to repurpose old work, to share things that are from the past, like even, for example, this post that I put up yesterday, that actually is an old piece that I posted right here. So I'm constantly sharing older stuff and just kind of repurposing it, which is totally fine to do, you know, because it really helps grow your page and helps build that traction.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And it really has a short shelf life, this stuff. So would you ever post, maybe you did something a while ago, you'd post it today, and then would you go back and like delete the old one? Or
I usually end up keeping it. You definitely could go back and delete it, but I like to see, you know, like this older one got, you know, much more engagement than the one I just posted, and like different people commenting. I had like different thoughts in my head as I posted it. You know, I said, if you search for magic, you'll find it. I made this piece listening to a song randomly I found on Spotify called Glacier by 3 Dust. Listen to it while looking at this. So I was thinking about something when I posted this, and this song's actually really awesome. It's like very trippy and kind of magical, and so then when I posted this one, I was talking about being here on Adobe Live. So so each piece kind of will relate to a different time in your life as well, if that makes sense.
Well, and it'd be fun, I guess, in context of what you're doing, to post, you know, something you made today or yesterday saying, hey, join me tomorrow and learn how to make this.
Yep.
Or
so,
over the course of the 3 days or something.
Yeah, now that I showed you guys all the piece that we made yesterday, this one over here, I will be posting that on my Instagram tomorrow morning. And so I've also found for me that morning works best with my audience. If I post around 8 a.m., I get the most interaction. If I were to post in the middle of the day, like people might not even see it. And even nighttime I found doesn't perform as well. So I highly recommend like looking at your analytics and seeing what time your audience is online.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
So I think my library is broken.
Me too.
If you have credits, do you want to jump out to like Adobe Stock?
Yeah,
and
let's
look for
check that
an
out.
octopus or something cool. I was hoping I can help. Let's try to help.
I know, I have to use my hard-earned credits.
I know. Hopefully we gave you some.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I have 59 credits. Good to go.
Look at this though.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
So you guys can
Don't you
see.
just love? Oh, there's an octopus you licensed.
I know. Should
Use
I
it.
download him again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like that way you don't have to use another. Because
This is the one I was trying to make glow, and man, he was so difficult. But I'll get it eventually. Hey, here's the one you had.
yeah, those look like it. Yeah.
All right.
This is almost a test too. It's like, all right, you have less than 5 minutes. Go.
I know. Like, oh my
Like,
god.
what, Mr. Howard? And you might be able to because it's on black.
Yeah, I think we could quickly. Let's see if we just put that into
Oh yeah.
screen mode. Woo!
Open options. What do we do with it? How do we do this, folks? Is it behind? I would love it. It was behind the lighthouse.
Okay.
Like it's wrapping a tentacle around would be awesome. Like it's hidden back there and it's behind. You see it here and then you see a tentacle over on that side.
All right, let's try that out. All right, so now we got him. We got to see where all my layers are.
Underwater. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah. That's.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
see if we. Now he's kind of disappearing into that dark, so we might need to.
Yeah, it's like, do you how much do you mess with it? And since it's such a simple, the shape of that lighthouse isn't like if it's too complex to get it in the.
Ah, lots of pop-ups
Yeah.
happening over here. Okay. Let's see if we have it climbing the lighthouse. I like that.
Yeah.
Too bad it cuts off there. It'd be cool if one was like coming up out of the water. We could fix that. But so let's just see if we had him like this and then added a layer mask. And
This is fun.
I went back to my dumb trackpad without even realizing it again.
Right? It's just always there. I can do the same thing. But we are kind of winding down. As you work on that, just so everybody knows, Andrew's going to be up next from 11 to 1 with Ashley Batts. And he's going to be working on he's more of a, he does photography, you do photography. Like everybody's working in Photoshop a little bit differently. And then we have Sasha Vinogradova from Russia originally, from 1 to 3 today. And keep those submissions coming. And we will pick one at the end of the day. Right now, I think there's just like too many fantastic ones that are working. So that's like getting there. Maybe we're too. That's cool.
It's definitely
we're pretty ambitious to be like, yeah, we could do this, and that's what I love
like
about
a few
life.
minutes. But I mean, it's a definitely cool idea. I love the idea of having the octopus.
I love the idea of the subtlety of it all.
Yeah.
Of like, there looks like there's an octopus down there, like doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Yeah, I think like if you really worked on, making sure the tentacle wasn't up here in the water, making sure that the water line here like just kind of skim the top of that, making sure the fish weren't showing transparency here, and then having this lower edge dark and this top edge really light. So again, like as I was showing you guys earlier, you know, you might come in and have this highlighted here like that, this slightly highlighted, maybe like kind of, and then have this dark. And then you could even make them glow. So that just to kind of show you guys where the shadows and the highlights would be. That would be really cool. But
I think that's good. That's a good way to end it, is like in terms of like kind of how you would tackle that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad this is like a recording. People kind of jump back and see you apply everything you just mentioned.
Right.
With their own project, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot you could do with this. I like the idea of having him climbing it, which you could figure out how to do, or like even just
it's so fun.
Huge
These are such
and
good
weird.
ideas. Like, okay, it's like thanks for that. Now I know what we need to do for the afternoon, huh?
Yep.
Is that kind of what you're like? I guess I know what I'm doing now. Quick shout out to Mohammed, was so kind in chat, commenting about how kind chat is, and said thank you.
Oh.
And so we just want to highlight. Can we switch to my screen real fast? Thank you so much. This is Mohammed's. You're a great guy. We really appreciate you. Want to show off your piece, and special thank you to Anna McNaught, the one and only.
Yay.
Anna McNaughty on Instagram. Follow her and catch up with her there, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining me.
I'm so excited about tomorrow.
I know, me too.
You have fun today?
Yes, today was awesome. And if you guys want any more tips or tricks or want to just chat, you know, feel free to DM me on Instagram. And I always make it a point to respond to everyone. So
Okay, very cool. We really appreciate that. We appreciate everybody in chat. Hang out. Andrew's going to be up next with Ashley. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.